All right. Time to talk about the best team in basketball. Because as I'm recording this, they just won their 14th game of the season and are now 14-1. And literally do not look like they're going to lose a game for the rest of the season. The only game that they've lost was by 2 points. Of course, I'm talking about the OKC Thunder. They are playing some of the best basketball I think I have seen from any team pretty much of all time. Like, they are one of the most well-constructed rosters I think I've ever seen. In terms of 1 through 10, you can put people out on the floor on the OKC roster and they're going to make things happen. Their bench is so incredibly depth and deep, or whatever you want to, whatever word you want to use for it. They are just so good. Obviously led by Shea, who at this moment in time is averaging 32 points per game. Just on the back of him, the people that are behind him, Isaiah Hartenstein leading the team in rebounds. Chet Holmgren doing the best he can on the defensive side of the ball as well as chipping in on the offensive side of the ball. Cason Wallace, I would have to actually have a look at the numbers, but Cason Wallace is having pretty much a career year. I know he's only been in the league a couple of seasons, but he's all but leading the league in steals and just being so impactful on the defensive side of the ball. And then being able to sit and just shoot that corner three for Shea whenever he needs a bailout shot. And just be there for all, the one percenters, basically. That's who Cason Wallace is. He's got such a large wingspan. He's able to get in passing lanes, just be disruptive anywhere on the floor. Alex Caruso, we know who Alex Caruso is as a defender. Trying to hold up his offense is the only thing with Alex Caruso, because it is slightly inconsistent at times. There's times where you'll get Alex Caruso to hit 5 threes in a game, and there's days where you'll get Alex Caruso to shoot 0 for 5 in a game. So the defensive side of the ball will be the most consistent part of Alex Caruso throughout probably his entire career. But he's just as impactful as the rest of the guys. Lou Dort is another one. Lou Dort can shoot 0 for 10 or shoot 10 for 10. His jump shot is nearly inconsistent, but they do call him the torture chamber for a reason. His defensive prowess, alongside an offensive threat like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, having this many disruptive defensive guys, Shai is the worst defender on that team, and that's not being said as an insult. Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in his own right is a very decent defender. He's probably a plus defender when it comes to box plus minus. I don't know for sure. I'd have to go deep into the numbers to see all that, but as a defensive player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is as impactful as the rest of the guys on that roster. It baffles me. And people really aren't talking about the OKC Thunder because nearly every team in the league at this point has basically said, we're going to OKC, we're going to lose. I have heard multiple broadcasters, especially watching my Warriors and other teams around the association, if they talk about previewing an upcoming game against the OKC Thunder, I reckon there's been about 4 or 5 times where I've heard the broadcasters just say, we've got a tough one. We're going OKC. Because I don't think there is genuinely many teams at the moment that expects to beat OKC. And the most ridiculous part is their second best player hasn't even put the jersey on this season. Jalen Williams is the second best player on that roster, and he is yet to put the jersey on. It baffles me. It makes no sense whatsoever. If you look at their next 5 upcoming games, you've got the Jazz. The Jazz as good a basketball as they're playing. There's no world where I think they lose to the Jazz. The Kings look all over the place at the moment. The Kings sort of have a lot of stuff to figure out. That's on not tomorrow, the day after. And then you've got the Blazers, who I mean, the Blazers are the only team that beat them all season. The Blazers are the only team that has beaten OKC. So whether there are a chance of doing it again in a few days' time, I'm not too sure. I think you'll probably lose once to OKC this season. Like, OKC will beat you 3 out of the 4 times that they play against you. In my personal opinion. I think that's just how it goes. You'd be lucky to maybe snag one. And then the next NBA Cup game that the Thunder have got going on against the Timberwolves, I don't sort of know what's going on with the Timberwolves at the moment, because obviously Anthony Edwards was out for a couple of weeks with that hamstring injury. Has just come back and has looked impactful. Don't get me wrong, he is as good of a player as Anthony Edwards always is. But the Timberwolves just they seem to be losing games that they shouldn't. Which is the biggest thing, I think, with the Timberwolves at the moment. They just need to be able to sort themselves out and get their feet back under them, because there's a bit of inconsistency going on there. There's some days where Dante DiVincenzo will hit 6 out of 6 threes, and then there's other nights where he'll finish with like a couple of layups and a steal. So there's sort of inconsistencies there, which I think the team needs to work out. But I don't think they beat the Thunder by any means, because they've got too many good defenders. They've got too much scoring on the other side of the ball. They've got way too much of a bench compared to the Timberwolves, which I just watched 5 minutes of Timberwolves action today, provided they just blew out the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas being on a back-to-back, I really did not expect them to do a lot. And, I mean, they didn't. I don't know what the final score of that game was, but it was 30 points when I turned it off with 6 minutes to go. So that was the bench unit for the Timberwolves. Like, Naz Reid was out there dropping 20 and 10, and Naz Reid's as good of an NBA player coming off the bench as there was in all of the history of ball. Like, I'm not going to quite put him up there with your Jamal Crawfords and your Lou Williams and all those sorts of guys. Montrezl Harrell in his prime, if you remember Montrezl Harrell off the bench. He was a beast at one point in time. I just don't see the impact as much out of Naz Reid. But anyway, going back to the Thunder, and then their last in the next 5 is the Suns, which the Suns have got injuries. So I can't really talk about the Suns too much. The biggest thing with me is OKC has not only won all these games, but they're winning by an average of 15.5 points per game. Which a lot of teams who are good, a lot of the time they win games, but they only sort of win those games by like a few points. OKC is just blowing teams out night after night. As I said, without Jalen Williams in the lineup. So I don't know if it's so weird that once Jalen Williams comes back, do we say the team is better or worse? Because you really can't get much worse at this team at this current moment. Isaiah Joe has come back from a couple of injuries and he's shooting the ball as well as he possibly can. And there's so much going on in terms of depth of the roster and just overall impact from every single player that hits the floor for OKC every single night. It's craziness. Like, I just don't know what else to say about it. They're fourth in offensive rating and they're first defensively. I think first defensively is basically what I've just been rambling about. Like, defensively, they are an absolute beast of a team. And then you go up the other end and you've got arguably the best offensive player in basketball at your point guard spot, night after night, who is also one of the most consistent scorers, most consistent players that you'll get from the league in a very long time. It's absurd. Like, the only fault that I can give this team, if I were to pick a fault out, is that their three-point shooting is slightly below average. Only just slightly. It says here that because I got a bunch of stats up on my other screen at the moment, they're 21st in three-point percentage. Which I think, if I were to dive deeper, that would be the lowest that they would be on any list in any category, whether it be offense, defense, I don't know, special teams if they're playing football. Like, it's an incredible team. Do I think they're going to beat 73-9? I don't want to write it off. I genuinely, because this team is young, this team is healthy, this team has bodies. I do not want to. Do I think they're going to go on a 30-game win streak? No, I don't. Like, that Warriors record, I think, will sit for probably a very long time. But is there a world where they only lose 8 games this season? I'm going to let you guys decide that in the comments. Tell me whether you think that is actually going to happen. Me personally, they're a chance. If all goes well and Shea doesn't go out with some dramatic injury, because Shea is the key to it all. Realistically, I don't know how this team folds on the offensive side without Shea being a part of the lineup and doing everything that Shea does on a day-to-day basis. But if Shea stays healthy and the rest of this team keeps their bodies, which they will, because even if one guy goes out, you've got AJ Mitchell or someone else ready to step into that mold. But I think they are a genuine chance at breaking that record. It's crazy to say out loud, and as far as it goes, this OKC team, most of them are under contract for another few years. Like, from the team that they had a year ago that just won the championship, they lost one guy. And that was it. It is the exact same roster. And what I see them being better this season. And they already won 60-something games this last season. It's a possibility. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it there. I've sort of been rambling for long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know down below. Like, just give me a prediction. Just give me how many games you think they're going to win. 65 games, whether they're going to win in 70 games, or they're going to break that record. Just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. The content has been absolutely flying recently, and you guys are starting to show love, which is really nice. Like, I love reading all the love that you guys send my way. I really appreciate it. I really do. Interacting with you guys, as I've said a bunch of times, is the best part of doing all of this. So if you can continue to keep the conversation going, that would be amazing. Yeah, let me know what you think OKC's record is going to be at the end of the season. They are absolutely killing basketball right now. I don't have any other words to describe it. So keep watching, keep enjoying the hoops. I will see you guys in another couple of days with a main video. I think it might be a reaction video up next. You guys seem to watch and enjoy the last reaction video, so I'm going to do another one again soon. Thank you guys so much. Keep enjoying the short form too. The short form I'm pumping out at the moment. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you then. Bye.